What up, my friends? Welcome back to my channel. First of all, let me just start by saying thank you so much for your patience. This was supposed to be Sunday's video, but your girl over here got hit with the worst flare-up of vertigo that I have ever had in recorded history. It was a wild time. I consider myself a pretty strong person. I had 3 children in 1 calendar year. My oldest came in January, his twin brothers came in December. Most people would consider my pain tolerance pretty high to do something crazy like that, and your girl was just wiped out. Thankfully, I am married to a unicorn of a man, and he stepped up like you guys would not even believe. The reason why I want to talk about it before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video is because I feel like there's always a narrative out there about contributing partners and how they don't exist. And in case you thought that they didn't exist, I just want to let you know that I'm currently living with one. Everything that I normally take care of, and mind you, I am a stay-at-home mom and he works outside the home. He didn't have to ask me a single thing about routine, about what needed to be cooked, what needed to be done, nothing. He handled absolutely everything. I sat back just in amazement the entire time. Meanwhile, I'm like a sloth laid out, can't barely even move. And he just impressed me. Anyways, I just wanted to share that, give him some recognition. Let me tell you what's going on in this video. This is an anti-haul video. If you guys have watched those before, what I do is I focus on shelf cooking. I cook through what's in my pantry, fridge, and freezer. And I do this because I want to try to help out my grocery budget, try to pull that back a little bit, and try to go as many days as possible without going to a grocery store. My only exception is if my children need milk, eggs, or produce. However, in this video, I truly was like using up precious eggs like they were the $17 per egg that they are. I'm kidding, that's an exaggeration, but you guys know what I'm saying. I was trying to be as creative and resourceful as possible when cooking these meals. I have breakfast, I have lunch, I have dinner to share with you. We are a family of 5. I have 3 toddlers. They are ages 3 and then twin year-olds, and then twin 2-year-olds. I'm obviously too excited about this video. I'm basically yelling at you. I apologize. But overall, we just have a great menu. We ate good. You know, we skipped going to the grocery store, but didn't feel like we were missing out. So if you're looking for a little inspiration on what to cook through in your house, I have you covered in this video. If you happen to be new here, hi, how are you? How's the family? Thank you so much for clicking on that thumbnail and giving me a chance. On this channel, I do a lot of recipe inspiration to help you out with meal planning. And if you enjoy the vibe, please consider subscribing before you leave. Without further ado, let's hop into the video. All right, guys, so we are going to be making a chili, but it's gonna be a different chili. And the mission of this video is to clear things out. And in my jar graveyard, I had this fall harvest salsa. It's like an autumnal blend of pumpkin, apples, butternut squash. So kind of like sweet and savory vibe. So that's what I'm letting lead me for this chili. And we're gonna do like sweet potato, ground chicken, do kind of like a hearty, healthy situation. I'm gonna be using some of this Better Than Bouillon chicken broth as well. That was in the fridge. And then I have this little snack pack of peppers and cucumbers I had diced up for myself. So I'm gonna steal the peppers for this recipe. That's where we're at in our life, okay? We don't have any other peppers on hand, so we're just stealing from our snack pack. Everything is fine. And then I have an onion that's been hanging out in my pantry for quite some time, looking to get used. So I'm gonna chop this up. I'm probably only gonna use half of this because this is a hefty girl. And we're gonna use our little dicer over here to get it all set up. And that's kind of the most prep work that's gonna go into this, outside of like rinsing my beans and getting them in the pot. So this is gonna be a 1-pan dinner, and I'm excited to just kind of dump everything in there and just let it simmer on the stove for a while. Okay, so after I worked on dicing up the onions and the bell peppers, I then moved on to dicing up the sweet potato. And I was excited because I realized my little chopper here actually has another blade that is a little bit larger than the one that I used to chop up onion and bell pepper. So it can make diced sweet potatoes on a little bit of a larger scale. Since I had the cutting board out and the sweet potatoes, you'll also see me chopping up some sweet potatoes into big chunks and getting them in the rice cooker. I just wanted to show that part because this is actually something we serve our kids, and the easiest way for me to steam them is to just toss them in a rice cooker. So that's how we do that. Now, the other reason I even had chili on the mind besides me having that fall harvest salsa that I wanted to use up, is because I was recently watching a video from my friend Mandy at Mandy in the Making, and she did a video where she did 3 different very creative chili recipes. And in one of them, it actually called for maple syrup. So in a little bit, you're gonna see maple syrup going into this chili. The chili that she makes and the chili that I'm making here with the maple syrup could not be more different. So if you are looking for some like really unexpected recipes for chili, I will link her video down below. In it, she makes a pepperoni pizza chili, a buffalo chicken chili, and game day beer chili, which I'm pretty sure that's the one that had the maple syrup in it. So if you're a fan of chili like my boy John, I will have that link down below. Okay, so now we've got the ground chicken in there. I am a firm believer that it matters to season at each step. So I'm gonna season the chicken with some chili powder, with some paprika, and we will add more of this later, and some cumin. And then of course some salt and pepper. And then we are gonna just break this chicken up, and then we're just gonna let that cook for probably like 5 to 6 minutes, just until the ground chicken gets all cooked through. We just popped in those diced sweet potatoes, and I love how small they are diced. I think that's gonna be perfect for this chili. So I'm glad that I used my little chopper for it. And we're gonna let this cook for probably like 6 or 7 minutes, just to let them kind of work together. And then I'm gonna get to dumping in the other ingredients. Okay, so let this go for a good amount of time here. Looking great. I'm gonna go ahead and dump in a cup of chicken stock. I'm just gonna kind of use that to scrape up any of the bits from the bottom there. Encourage that along. All right, next I'm gonna do a can of regular diced tomatoes, a can of fire roasted tomatoes. But if you had 2 fire roasted, you could go that route, or 2 regular diced, you could go that route. And then I'm doing...
Your washer is done.
Thank you. I'm doing a cup of this salsa, I'd say. It's probably about a cup left. But you could use whatever salsa you like, or you could use a can of Rotel, or just add more diced tomatoes. Or you could even skip it, because it's your kitchen and you can do what you want. We're gonna stir that. I'll be right out of your way, John. All right, and then we are going to go in with about 1/4 cup of maple syrup. We're gonna do a splash of apple cider vinegar. We've got about 1/2 teaspoon of cumin going in. And don't forget, we did a little earlier, probably just shy of a teaspoon of smoked paprika. We're gonna do just a shimmy shake of cinnamon, probably like 1/8 of a teaspoon. And then pretty heavy on the chili powder, we're gonna go about 1 tablespoon at this step. And then just some salt and pepper. All right, we're gonna stir that together, and I am actually gonna have this on medium heat for about 20 minutes. Just till it like simmers, bubbles all together and all of that. Then I'm gonna turn it down to low and just let it cook for probably an hour. You could serve it right away, but I want it to kind of cook low and slow for a little while. This would also probably be very easy to accomplish in the crock pot. I just didn't have a few hours tonight. Oh, I forgot. John just presented me an ingredient I almost forgot about. I have a can of drained and rinsed dark kidney beans. But if you had like black beans on hand, or really whatever beans you like, you could totally go for that. This would be the perfect fall soup. Look at those colors, man. Wow. All right, so we're just gonna let this party, let it get to know each other. John was in the kitchen with me tonight. He's making chicken nuggets for our kids. Okay, so we have made these chicken patties like a million times on this channel. I'll link it down below. But I wanted to pop it in this video because I wanted to show you how we got pretty resourceful. When I say we, I mean John, because part of this recipe, you need breadcrumbs. We do not currently have breadcrumbs on hand. So instead what he did was he took our blender and he just blended up some oats to turn it into a fine breadcrumb, basically. So that's what we're gonna be using to make our kids some chicken nuggets. Okay, so this one could not be easier, you guys. I literally just diced the potatoes in half after John washed them for me. I trimmed up some green beans. I'm gonna go ahead and spray this down with some avocado oil, get it all spread out here for myself. And at this point, you could put some sausage on there for yourself. You could do some chicken. You do any type of protein you want. But we're going with just vegetables because we're making our protein in the air fryer right now. So I just got some, what is that stuff called? Garlic, that's what it's called. I got some garlic throughout there. And then I am all obsessed with this roast chicken seasoning from Kinder's. But what's funny is I don't really like it to season chicken. I feel like it's too plain for seasoning chicken. But for potatoes, it's so good. It's like it's meant for potatoes. So we're gonna load that up on there. And since that one already has salt in it, I'm not gonna salt, but I will do some black pepper. Okay, and then we're just gonna toss that. And then I am just gonna do a little drizzle of honey. All right, and then this is gonna go in the oven at 425 degrees for about 25 minutes. And then I'll check it and see how fork tender these potatoes get and go another 5 minutes if needed. We got a lot going on over here, you guys. This is looking great. John's flipping pancakes. That sounds like a song.
John's flipping pancakes.
The country song?
Yeah.
We are also making a homemade gravy because we don't have any gravy packets. And honestly, it is so easy to make your own gravy. So I have about 2.5 tablespoons of flour that I'm melting down right now. And then I'm gonna add in about 2.5 tablespoons of flour, and we're gonna make a roux. And then you just add in chicken stock, 2 cups, and then salt and pepper. However, we're gonna just add some of this roast chicken seasoning right into the gravy too. If you had like poultry seasoning, I like that in a gravy.
Why is it called a roux?
I have no idea. It sounds French though. You know.
What makes it a roux?
Somebody tell us.
What makes it a roux?
I think the fat and the flour is a roux. So it doesn't have to be butter, but I think you could do like bacon fat or something, you know?
Or like the grease from the chicken.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think that's what that step is. So I'm just going in with 2 of these. And you want to stir pretty quickly because you don't want to get like clumpy flour. And then we're gonna go ahead and pour in the 2 cups of chicken stock. I'm just gonna do a little bit and then get that flour kind of work through that one. And see how it's already starting to thicken up. I have the heat on medium, by the way. Look at that. It's like a science experiment.
Yeah.
How quick that comes together.
Hey, it's okay. You're welcome.
Good amount of black pepper. All right, and then we're just doing some salt. We're gonna let that simmer together until it thickens, and then we'll be good to go. So as you guys can see, I have a lot of leftover diced sweet potato. So what I'm actually gonna do is air fry this for myself and kind of prep it, because I'm thinking, I don't have time right now, but I'm thinking I could put together some breakfast burritos maybe tomorrow. So I'll do this step now.
That sounds amazing.
Right? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put some avocado oil on this, as well as this everything but the elote blend from Trader Joe's. And then we're gonna do some salt and pepper. And then we're gonna go pop this in the air fryer, 400 degrees for 12 minutes. I'm gonna shake it halfway through and then see if I need another 3 minutes. But I'm thinking because they're diced so small that I think 12 minutes is gonna be sufficient. All right, John made a huge batch of pancakes for our kids. These are like banana pancakes. We tend to make pancakes and waffles out of like our own oats and stuff like that, like simple ones. But I've really been liking the birch blender, I think is what it's called. Let me go see if I have one, hold on. We still have the package. This brand right here, Birch Blenders Complete Organic Buttermilk is the one I went with this time. I think I grabbed this at Target. These are the ingredients on it. I know it's not the same as making your own, but in a pinch for a pantry clean out, this is the perfect way to get some pancakes done for our kids. What I do is in the morning, I just give them, you know, 1 or 2 of these pancakes. probably 2. These are like on the smaller side. And then serve it with fresh fruit. And they love, John makes them because he's the world's best dad. He makes them an egg omelet every morning and then just cuts it into 3. And so they all, Nala says hello to you, our cat Nala. Do you guys want to see how cute she is? Here you go. Hi Nala, great to see you. Every morning he makes them an omelet. So they get a third of an omelet, 1 or 2 of these pancakes depending on the size, and then some fresh fruit and their milk, and they're the happiest little dudes ever. Okay, you guys, so I got this gravy looking great over here. Boom. Perfect consistency for us. And then in the back, this chili. John, could you report to your friends what you thought when you took a bite of it? Friends.
I know we're not doing an official taste test with this, but if you don't make this, you're doing yourself a disservice.
And we're gonna be mad at you.
It will be very bad. Corporate,
Unless you have some dietary restriction or preference that stops you from making it, that will be allowed.
Okay,
there will be exemptions.
It's the only exemption.
Yeah, but if you are a fan of chili, or just happiness, because I don't even really like chili that much, but I tasted this and this is a vibe.
This is hands down one of the most flavorful and amazing chilies I've ever tasted.
It's really good.
It's got
really,
just
really
a
good.
little bit of
A zing.
with a like mouth punch of flavor.
Yeah, it's really good. This is a definite win.
And I feel like the ground chicken goes hand in hand with the sauce that goes hand in hand with the
sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes. It is so perfect. I would change nothing.
Yes, same. All right, well, we're gonna get tonight's dinner plated up, which is gonna be the air fryer. What are those things called? We don't know.
Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah, it's like a Thanksgiving turkey thing that we've had in the freezer that we got at either Sam's Club or Costco. We're gonna serve it with that sheet pan that I made of the green beans and the potatoes with this gravy. This is gonna be going with John to work tomorrow and kind of for, lunch meal prep. If there's extra too, hold on. Okay, and then if there is leftover, which I don't know if John will allow it, we have these little 8-ounce soup cube thingies that are perfect for something like this. So if you make a big batch of chili and it's just you, these little things have been such a game changer for us. I will link the ones that I got down below because I did like a knockoff from the main brand that everybody else buys, and these have been just great. I don't have the real ones, so I'm not sure how it compares, but I've loved these. So you just put the chili right in here. Comes with a little silicone top. Put it in the freezer overnight, and then the next day you can pop this out and put it in space saver bags or Ziploc bags, or you could just leave it right in this. And then when you're ready, you can just pop the cube out, heat it up in the microwave, and you're good to go. Or you could thaw it out for yourself and cook it. So it's perfect to have for quick lunch options, and you could thaw this right over some rice. You could even put rice in the bottom of these and then put the chili on top and have a full meal. Okay, and then I made the diced sweet potatoes. So these I'm just gonna put in a container for myself, and we will probably prep some breakfast burritos or some breakfast bowls of some form using these guys. I think breakfast burritos would be cool to do.
Breakfast burritos sound delicious.
Yeah, John. Maybe tomorrow morning, John will cook us up some eggs, and then tomorrow night I can assemble.
Oh wait, eggs, hashtag eggs.
Yeah, hashtag eggs are so expensive. Maybe we could come up with another way to do this. But anyways, so that's gonna go in the fridge to wait for us to come back for phase 2 tomorrow. All right, friends, here is tonight's dinner. Friends, we're in the kitchen, and I just wanted to pop in because I feel like I never do this, and also because I just wanted to share exactly like how scattered my brain is, and I'm just wondering if anybody else understands, because I am just trying to accomplish cooking dinner but then I'm like immediately like, but I should also meal prep this and I should also meal prep that. And if I'm gonna be doing this, then I might as well do that. And it goes from like just whipping together a 30-minute meal and it turns into like a 2-hour meal prep session. Does that happen to anybody else, or have I completely lost my mind? Because I started off with saying for dinner tonight, we're gonna keep it really simple. We have a bag of, I keep forgetting what the actual name is. It's like chicken tatsu aagi or something, but I always want to call it chicken karaage because that's what it tastes like to me. So we have that. And you guys know me, I'm always trying to work through sauces that I got. We had bought this at either Costco or BJ's or Sam Club, one of the wholesale clubs. And I've been wanting to use it up, and I was thinking it would be probably delicious to toss that chicken right in this sauce and do like rice, and then we have green beans and broccoli that we need to use up. So I was thinking just simple, and then slice up some cucumbers and make like a rice bowl, you know what I mean? But then I was like, since I'm gonna be prepping that, I had been thinking about for my lunch, I wanted to make like a salmon rice bowl. And I was like, since I'm gonna be making the rice, I might as well prep the salmon. And for the salmon rice bowl, I had wanted to do the sliced cucumbers, but I also wanted to do like a coleslaw with my salmon bowl. So I'm like, I might as well prep the coleslaw because then that's one less thing tomorrow. So then tomorrow I can just kind of like assemble the bowl. If you guys remember yesterday, we had made some diced sweet potatoes and I had said, we'll prep some breakfast burritos using those. So then I'm like, well, while I'm in the kitchen, I'll do the dinner and then I'll do my lunch for tomorrow, and then I'll also prep those breakfast burritos. But the good news is that this is all done with shelf cooking. I've come up with all of these things just using the items we already have on hand. So the plan right now is we're going to air fry some of that chicken. We're gonna toss it in the sauce. I'm about to get some rice started in my rice cooker, which you guys will see. I'm also gonna cook green beans and broccoli on a sheet pan. That's gonna use up the rest of the green beans and the broccoli. And then I'm gonna make the coleslaw, which is gonna be used tonight and tomorrow. I'm also gonna make scrambled eggs and then probably assemble the breakfast burritos. My thing though is that with the breakfast burritos, I'm trying to think of what extra protein I wanna put on there because eggs are pricey right now. So I don't wanna use too many eggs. So what I'm thinking is I'm probably gonna make like 4 breakfast burritos based on the amount of sweet potatoes that I have left over. And I'm thinking what I'll do is just take 2 eggs, mix it with some cottage cheese to like thin it out as much as possible, and hope that that's enough volume. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking I'm gonna do. I have some leftover enchilada sauce that I had made last week. So instead of doing like a taco sauce on there, I'm just gonna use that. And then I think we have some cheese. So I think we're gonna be able to pull that off. So that's the mission tonight in this shelf cooking extravaganza. We're gonna get breakfast taken care of for a couple of days for both John and I. We're gonna get my lunch prepped and ready to assemble for tomorrow. And then we're gonna get dinner on the table. Well, for us, there's no table because we're just gonna sit and eat maybe on our lanai because we don't have a dining table because we have 3 toddlers and they scale absolutely everything. So there's no point in having one. They run the show. Okay, I have absolutely no control over my children. It's fine, everything's fine. Different stage of life. I'm gonna have a full tablescape. I'm gonna have this beautiful dining room table. People are gonna be envious of me, okay? That's future Kate. Present Kate, it's not happening. So anyways, we're gonna dive into that. Let's get to work, Kate. Enough procrastinating, here we go. Okay, so into my handy dandy rice cooker. I've got 1.5 cups of rice that I've rinsed. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I do rinse my rice. I was trained by the island of Oahu. And then I have 3 cups of water going into my rice cooker. This is the way I've always done it. I know there's people that are cool enough to just stick their finger in and then where the water falls, that's how much water they put or something. I'm not that cool. So anyways, look how easy this is. I'm just gonna hit go. I think these things are like 20 bucks. I obviously need to clean mine. It's got like rice starch on it, but you guys love me the way I am, right? There's no aesthetics over here. Okay, so task 1 is done. That's great. Look at how easy that was. All right, next up, we're just gonna do a very simple sheet pan of vegetables. So I have some leftover broccoli, just like barely a cup. And then I have green bean that I'm just gonna trim the ends. All right, you guys, and this is how easy we're gonna make this on ourselves. We are just spraying it with some avocado oil. And then I'm just gonna use this caramelized onion butter from Kinder's. And this already has salt in it, so I'm not even gonna salt it. Just going with that. Massage it in there. And we're gonna toss this in the oven for probably about a half hour. That's how long I had to cook it last night. I have the oven on 375. So it might end up needing like 35 minutes, but something around there. So we're gonna get that in the oven. Okay, now the next thing I wanna do is work on that coleslaw. So I'm just gonna make myself a little trash right here because one of the parts of this coleslaw is gonna be grated ginger. I can't remember, I think grated ginger. So I'm just gonna work on peeling some ginger for myself. I actually need ginger for, if you guys remember, if you watched my recent meal prep video, I'll link it down below. I'll be making that today too using what I have on hand. But I've been making these ginger ice cubes that are supposed to help with like an immunity boost per the internet. Don't quote me on it. And I've actually really enjoyed them. They're very refreshing and they have ginger and turmeric root and lemon and I can't remember what else. A little black pepper, I think a little honey if I remember correctly, and cinnamon, stuff like that. I'll link the video down below. But anyways, I'm gonna need some ginger for the coleslaw. So I was thinking I might as well just, while I'm working on it, just peel it all up for myself for my immunity boost as well. So I use these like silicone ice cubes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grate the ginger right over it. And then I'm gonna grate just a little bit into this bowl here for the coleslaw. And then go back to grating into that ice cube tray. So I just need like a teaspoon, not much. So moving on for the, what is this stuff called? Coleslaw. We have a touch of that crushed ginger or shredded ginger, why can't I think? Grated, that's the word I'm looking for. Grated ginger down there. We are gonna be using this plain yogurt that I purchased from, where did I get this from? I think I got it from Publix last week. So we're gonna do about 1/4 cup of that. But you could use sour cream or Greek yogurt or whatever your favorite yogurt is. And we're gonna do a splash of rice vinegar, I'd say the equivalent of like a tablespoon. We're gonna do about a teaspoon of sesame oil. Oh, I'm so excited, look at me finishing off. Woo! Is that not the most satisfying feeling? We're gonna do about a teaspoon of honey. We're gonna do like a clove of garlic in there. But you could just use garlic powder or garlic salt if you wanted to. And then I'm just gonna stir that together. We're gonna do some salt and black pepper. We are definitely working through the produce drawer here. I have like a tri-color coleslaw mix. It has green cabbage, red cabbage, and carrots inside. I'm just gonna use up the rest of this bag. It was probably like 2/3 of a 14-ounce bag. And then we're just gonna toss that in there. I don't know if I was recording or not, but I did put a tablespoon of mayonnaise in there. If you had Kewpie mayonnaise, I feel like that would also be delicious. But I am telling you guys right now, I could just sit here and just eat this entire thing. This is delicious. If you're looking for like an Asian style coleslaw mix, this is a vibe, you guys. This is a vibe. So I'm happy to have this for today and tomorrow. Let's move on. Okay, so probably the easiest part about this is we're just gonna air fry this chicken for us. So this is the one that I'm trying to work through. I got this at Costco. It is so good. But we just don't turn to it for some reason, even though it is delicious, but it is not a testament to the product. All right, so we are going to be air frying this for 5 minutes at 390 degrees, and then you shake it and then cook it for another 3 minutes, so 8 minutes in total. So I'm gonna go pop that in a 390 degree air fryer. Okay, here is our rice. We like a sticky rice over here. Oh, look at that steam. We like it to be sticky over here, and this is looking perfect. So rice is all good. This will just stay in the rice cooker on warm while the other components are finishing up. The green beans are yelling at me that they are done. So we will get those guys out. They look great. Okay, now one of the last things we need to do is get some scrambled eggs going. So I'm gonna spray down some avocado oil We only have 5 eggs left, and I know John needs some for the kids in the morning. We are gonna crack 2 eggs into a little cup here for myself. We are also going to do a generous amount of cottage cheese to stretch this out as much as possible. I'd say that's about, I don't know, that could probably be a full cup, maybe just shy of a full cup. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pour that down in there. I'm gonna do salt, pepper. And I'm also gonna use that everything but the elote that we used in the sweet potatoes when we cooked those last night. And then I'll just use a little silicone spatula to move those eggs around and get them cooked. Looking great. Just let that cook a couple more minutes. I reduced the heat down to like low medium. I'll just let that cook. But it looks awesome to me, and they're nice and fluffy. Cottage cheese eggs are kind of a vibe, man. You guys, I'm trucking along on my mission here. We're just gonna make like 3 mini burritos or 4 mini burritos. I'm using these Carb Balance flour tortillas. I'm gonna do 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. They're like, I'd say a fajita size, maybe like a little bit bigger than a fajita size. They're not burrito size. They do look larger though than like your standard taco. Just do 2 at a time for right now. I'm gonna first, so I've got this homemade enchilada sauce. I'm just gonna slap that down. Put some of the scrambled egg down on each. And put some of the sweet potato down. And then we have some deli turkey, so that's what I'm going with the protein. If you had like a breakfast sausage. Granted, there's already a lot of protein in this, but the more protein, the merrier. Ian, is that? Oh, Ian. We do not have very much cheese left, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take I'm gonna take 2 slices and split it between all 4. Because I can't live without cheese, you guys. But I'm trying to save a little bit in case we need it for something else. We're really getting resourceful over here, okay? Because we usually have so much cheese on hand, but we just don't right now. And then I'm just gonna roll that up like the burrito it is. And I'm gonna put it right in this meal prep container here. And then tomorrow we'll be able to air fry them. If you had like beans on hand, corn on hand, you could bulk it up even more with that. Okay, so tomorrow we can just air fry these for ourselves. We'll see if we want 1 or 2, see how hungry we are. I do have some leftover sweet potato, which I'm probably just going to serve with tonight's dinner just to get rid of it. And we have a little bit of turkey leftover, some cheese, and the wraps. So we are still doing pretty good over here. Okay, so we've got some veggies going down over here. On mine, I'm gonna add that coleslaw that I made. John said he does not want any coleslaw, so we're skipping that for him. He has, though, attempted coleslaw multiple times. And that's all you can ask in life, you know? And I've got this little bit of sweet potato, so that's gonna go down there. We are gonna do a scoop of rice. We've got that delicious chicken cooked in the air fryer. We are gonna drizzle this Japanese sauce. I'm just gonna drizzle it over everything, to be honest with you guys. And then John just tasted the yum yum sauce and he has approved. So we're just gonna drizzle a little of that on there for him too. Boom. All right, that is a hearty dinner. Boom.
Okay, let's make a 1-pot creamy chicken sausage tortellini soup. Well, we're going to use this smoked sausage from Sam's Club. So we'll go ahead and get these on the stove and start to brown them. While those are browning, we'll go ahead and dice up the broccoli. Get some avocado oil. We'll put down. We'll go ahead and get this browned up. Alright, while those are getting sauteed, I'm going to go ahead and make some chicken stock since I don't have chicken stock. we just use bouillon. I have a trick. My trick is this fun thing right here. It's a frother. Look at that. Okay. And I'll just add 2 cups of water once I pour that in. Now we're really cleaning out this fridge. Alright, now that it's up, we'll go ahead and add the broccoli. We'll let that cook for 4 or 5 minutes. Alright, now that the broccoli is nice and tender, we'll go ahead and add our tortellini. Stir that in and let that cook for an additional 4 or 5 minutes until the tortellini's done. Okay, we got tortellini is done. Add a cup and a half of heavy cream. Add half a cup of we don't have Italian seasoning, so we're going to use this. And salt and pepper to taste. A little bit of red pepper. Just a little bit. I'm a fan of red pepper. Stir it all in. Let that simmer. Thicken up. Plate it and eat. Right. This is what's for dinner tonight.
One of my favorite things about John is that he has absolutely no problem just stepping up to the plate if I'm not feeling well, and that's what was happening once my vertigo flare-up started. So he got dinner, as you saw in the last clip, going the night before, and then on this night, I was really happy to have a freezer meal waiting for him, so he didn't have to put a lot of effort into dinner, although I know he would have had no problem doing it. So I had this delicious 5-ingredient pork carnita situation waiting in the freezer. I will link the video where I made it down below, along with 4 other 5-ingredient freezer-friendly meals. And all he had to do was thaw it out a little bit, get it in the crock pot, and let it cook low and slow throughout the day. The pork was literally falling off the bone. He would not stop talking about how delicious this was. So it was nice that we had that in the freezer to rely on, and that's why I am a huge advocate for freezer meals. Anyways, we ended up using this pork from this meal in a variety of different ways. But one of the things that we definitely wanted to get done was some sheet pan quesadillas. We like those for us, but the kids also love it. And it's a really great way to be able to get some hidden veggies into them as well. So what John did was he assembled the quesadillas on a sheet pan. And the one thing I will recommend that we learned with this method is to put a little bit of cheese on both the top and bottom of the quesadilla. So put some cheese down, then put whatever your protein is. So we obviously use the pork. He then went in with a little bit of teriyaki sauce, and then he had some steamed broccoli. So he crumbled that up and put that right on top of the meat, put a little bit of cheese on there, and then slapped the top of the quesadilla together. This ended up making 10. That's why we love doing the sheet pan method, because you can make 10 super fast without having to stand over a stove or put one in at a time in an air fryer or something like that. So lay them all down on the sheet pan, and then you can either put a silicone mat like we did or some parchment paper over the top of the quesadillas, and then you put another sheet pan on top of it to give it some weight. We like to squeeze those 2 sheet pans together to kind of sandwich those quesadillas, and then those go into a 375-degree oven. With flour tortillas, I'd say about 18 minutes. We've noticed when we do this method with corn tortillas, you have to do those a little bit longer, more like 25 minutes. So just keep an eye on them. You basically just want them to come out golden brown on top and bottom, and then you want obviously the cheese to be melted. One of my favorite ways to cut these up is to just use a pizza cutter and just go through them really quick. We like to cut these up into little triangles and store them that way. That way when we go to serve them to the kids, they're already in a friendly size for them. And if we want a snack or something like that, then we can obviously grab it too. We just love these sheet pan quesadillas, and you could really customize these to whatever proteins you happen to have on hand. This pork actually had black beans in it, so when John shredded it up and everything, all of the black beans got incorporated into the pork. But if you wanted to do like beans or corn or whatever your favorite vegetable is, the These could really be customized, and they're just such an easy way to get quesadillas on the dinner table. If you guys have been here before, you know that John is not the hugest fan of all seafood. He likes cod, haddock, things like that, even mahi-mahi. But salmon is not a favorite of his, but it surely is a favorite of mine. And since I was under the weather, he was kind enough to say that he would just eat leftovers on this night. So he had some of the leftover tortellini that you guys saw earlier, and he wanted to make me a really nutritious, delicious meal that he knew I loved. So he decided to prep me some salmon. And for somebody who does not like salmon, John is like the king at making a very simple and delicious salmon. So all you have to do with these, super simple. They are 6-ounce salmon fillets that were previously frozen that he had defrosted. He puts those inside a foil packet with the juice of 1 lemon, 2 cloves of minced garlic, about a tablespoon of olive oil, and just salt and pepper. And then he just kind of flips it around in there to get all of that on each side of the salmon. You just seal up those little foil packets, and for us, we like to cook them in the air fryer. We do 380 degrees for about 12 minutes, just until the salmon is fully cooked through. And then what he did was he just made a really easy stir fry on the stove. He just cooked some frozen stir fry veggies that we had in the freezer in a little bit of avocado oil, and then he added some of that Japanese dipping sauce that we had used earlier in the video, just to give the vegetables even more flavor. And when he went to go plate it for me, he ended up adding some yum yum sauce. On this night, I was not super hungry because I wasn't feeling great, so I didn't end up doing rice or anything on the side, but you could obviously do a scoop of rice with this. That would be great. He was kind enough not only to make me the dinner that night, but he doubled up on it. That way the next day when he had to go back to work, I had a lunch I could lean on without having to think about it. I absolutely love salmon so much. I know this recipe probably seems super unimpressive and simple, but sometimes simple is really the best. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me and spending a little bit of your day with me. It means the absolute world to me. I hope I delivered whatever you needed when you clicked on that thumbnail, and I hope you have a magical day. Bye.